Today's show looks at another facet of the broad mosaic of the Right to Life movement, a medical technology called ultrasound. This technology alone has saved many lives by converting many people, including pregnant mothers, from being pro-abortion to being pro-life. How so, you may ask? Well, folks who see ultrasound images of life in the womb describe it as both amazing and awesome. On today's show, we'll see for ourselves. Let me ask our audience, our audience, how much do you really know about your own beginnings? For instance, when you were conceived, were you really unique? Or when did you first move in the womb? When was your first heartbeat? Or when did you do your first somersault? Or suck your thumb? And when did you first experience pain? Through the images of ultrasound, today's show displays yours and my humanity during the first trimester of life as a baby in the womb. Today's guest has been with us on Life Matters twice before. A very brief introduction includes her recent retirement from the Boston Public School System, where she taught biology and science for 34 years. She also has been a pro-life educator for 23 years. She was born locally in the Chelsea Naval Hospital, grew up in the Dorchester section of Boston, and she currently resides in Marshfield, Massachusetts. Today's show delves further into the broad mosaic of the Right to Life movement. I confidently believe you'll find today's show to be unique, informative, content-rich, truthful, and thought-provoking. Well, welcome, Linda Thayer.
Well,
nice to have you today.
Thank you.
Well, Linda, how did you get involved in the pro-life movement?
Actually, I've probably been pro-life all my life, but if I had to focus on one specific moment, it was when I was an undergraduate in college in the 1960s.
Here in the Boston area?
Here in the Boston area. I went to the old Boston State College right over on Huntington Avenue. And I was taking a course in developmental biology. And on this one particular day, the professor took us downstairs from the laboratory and into the auditorium, and he showed us a film that for its time was a fantastic little film called The First Days of Life. And in that film, they had actual pictures of the moment of conception when those two sex cells join to start a brand new life. They had motion pictures of the different stages of embryological development and fetal development. And then they showed the birth of a beautiful baby at the end of the film. And I share this with people because it is a true story about me. You know, I wasn't really a particularly religious person at the time. I wasn't, you know, involved with any church or any movement. It was pre-Roe versus Wade.
Before Roe versus Wade, back in the 60s?
But when I came out of that auditorium, after seeing those images of those children inside of their mothers who were waiting to be born, I absolutely knew that I had just seen the first and the most incredible miracle of my entire life. I was absolutely blown away. I had never seen anything as awesome as what I saw in that little film. Nice. This even predated, you know, ultrasound, but it was still a very captivating experience.
Wow, it was quite a film.
It was powerful.
Well, after viewing the film The First Days of Life in your developmental biology class at Boston State, what was your reaction several years later when, in 1973, Roe versus Wade became the law of the land?
I was absolutely shocked. I was dumbfounded. You know, here I had just gone through 4 years of undergraduate work in biology. My professors had shown me exactly when a human life began. They showed me what a child looked like before it was born. And I couldn't believe that there were 7 educated judges on the Supreme Court.
Oh, were there 9?
Well, there were 9 on the court, but there were 7 who were actually trying to tell people that they didn't know if a woman carried a human being, a small person, you know, for 9 months before birth. A person that deserved to be protected by law. Do you know, in this country, I'm a science teacher, so I guess I kind of focus in on this sort of thing, but there are endangered species, an eagle, for example. If you took a camping trip, if you went out to Yellowstone Park, and somewhere in your camping trip you happened to find an eagle's egg with an embryonic eagle or a fetal bird inside that shell, do you know that if you took that eagle's egg and deliberately destroyed it, do you know that you'd be arrested and brought to court? They'd fine you $5,000, possibly put you in jail for a year for destroying a fetal bird before it was born out of that shell. Because, you know, it's absolutely unquestionable that we know that we have a living human being in the womb, just as we have that living, you know, bird inside of that shell.
I see.
So I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked by Roe v. Wade.
Well, now, most people associate MCFL with opposition to abortion, and while this association is correct, in a sense, it is incomplete. How so?
Well, I think what people have to understand is that something comes before opposition. Before you oppose something, it has to mean that you are for something. And I think if you look inside the womb, which I hope people will do today with us, you know, examine those images, those ultrasound images. If you look inside the womb and you recognize a fellow human being, if you are committed to the well-being, if you are committed to love and care and protect and nurture every human being, then that has to extend to the child in the womb. So to simply say that you're opposed to abortion sort of omits this whole understanding of we know, we have seen the evidence that this is a living human being, part of the human family that deserves to be protected. And we also, you know, are obliged to support and help those mothers and fathers who are faced with a difficult time in the pregnancy, you know, the beginning of the life of their child.
I see. Now, you mentioned that to me before the show, that the unborn child or the children that we're going to see are really the true guests on today's show. How so?
Well, I think a lot of times when this issue is discussed, people will use the word fetus. They will use words like privacy and choice and so on. And I think the problem with that approach to discussing this issue is that we don't actually see whose life is involved. So it's almost like today I want to invite those unborn children to present themselves to communicate to the audience that yes, we're people, yes, we're here. You know, yes, we're calling out for you, for your love and support. So they are the guests. I'm not your guest. I'm simply introducing some very invisible guests.
Okay, very
to
well.
Your audience.
Well, to introduce this tape segment, the person on the segment is Shari Richard, an ultrasonographer whose tape is called Ultrasound, Eyewitness to the Earliest Days of Life Inside the Womb. Could you please roll the tape?
Oh, celebrate life. Oh, celebrate life. Oh, celebrate life.
For as long as there have been babies born into this world, mankind has wondered about how life begins and develops in the womb. Now, with the advent of new technologies like real-time ultrasound imaging, we can see in exquisite detail how an unborn child is formed. Ultrasound utilizes high-frequency sound waves and is a safe procedure for both the mother and the unborn child. The sound waves are transmitted into the mother and are reflected back through a transducer. A computer will then tape these electrical pulses and convert them into an image, which we can recognize as the unborn child. Shari Richard is a registered ultrasound technologist who has the opportunity of watching the unborn in the privacy of the womb and has experienced firsthand the many wonders and benefits of this exciting technology.
It's a rewarding experience for me as a sonographer to introduce these babies to their parents for the first time. Each of them seem to have a unique personality of their own, and usually they'll give quite a performance to their parents.
Will ultrasound have any effect on the baby at all?
No, not at all. In fact, we've been doing tests for 20 years, and they haven't been able to find any biological effects at the diagnostic exposures we use. So you don't have to worry. Anyways, I'm going to get started now. I'm going to put some cold gel on you. There you go. That's going to help transmit the sound. Is that tickle?
It's cold.
Okay. This is your bladder, and this is your baby right here. He's jumping for you. Look at him.
Wow, I can't believe how developed he is. Look at him move.
Yeah, he's been well developed since 8 weeks. He's had all his parts. Look at him. Oh, look at you.
How come I can't feel that?
You won't until the 4th month.